All right. It's honestly, I've been waiting for this moment for a while, because the Star Citizen community um, gets so worked up when big streamers play their game, thinking that it means their game is good. And that's not necessarily the case. It means that they see the potential in the game, right? And Summit1g has been playing the game for weeks now, giving it way more time than I think it deserved. And I think he put in like awesome effort at trying to get good. It was awesome. It was inspiring to me. I'm training. I've gotten so much better at FPS. I've gotten so much better at ship combat simply because it was really inspiring how much he cared to try to get better at the game. And I was like, well, everyone always tells me I don't play the game, so maybe I should, be motivated to do this the way he is. And it really worked for me. But he's finally starting to realize a little bit of once you play the game for a while, the only thing Star Citizen really is potential, is my understanding. I have not seen really any of these clips. Apparently he mentioned me. I saw one of those because everybody was losing their mind about it, but it really wasn't that big of a deal at all. We just like talked to each other through streams yesterday, but he's finding out, unfortunately, what Star Citizen, essentially without server meshing and lots of development after server meshing, is. And it's pretty empty. So let's start out with, I got a bunch of clips, and then apparently he kind of like summarizes his thoughts at the end. This was clips of like a 10-hour rant, essentially. Yeah, he's a perfect mascot for the game. Glad he played it as much as he showed, and I'm glad he's ranting as much as well. So, because sometimes people seem to put more weight in people like Summit than people who've been saying the same things for a while. So, let us see.
Right? So that even makes the window even smaller for the only fucking window that you even have. I hate to say it, but the best way to pirate in this game is from the space station.
Yeah. But
it's your most consistent.
Which space station? Because nobody's really buying anything from a space station.
It's the most numbers.
But
you're playing the best numbers game you can at a space station.
Oh, he means tucking at the station. Yeah. And then you wait for them and you hope that they do piracy. That is a horrible option.
It's kind of sad. It was just a joke at the beginning, but it's the best way to pirate.
Yeah.
You want to sit there for an hour in the middle of space with your two buddies, staring at your friend's name, waiting for it to turn red?
Space cutlet, right? Like that is what piracy is. And if you're cool with that, then you're cool with that. But that is every time I look at a space cutlet stream, that's what's happening, right? Or they're moving cargo, which is awesome. But that's the state of piracy right now. There's a lot more waiting than there is piracy, right?
Do you want to sit at Pickers Field and rappel, fucking crossing your fingers, hoping for a C2 to come by? Instead, it's just a fucking Titan showing up trying to find rare armor, or has the quest to murder the whole fucking town while you're just sitting there with your dick in your hands? This guy's playing the game, and you're waiting for the game? Right?
Okay. So, yeah, I went on a big rant in Discord this morning. Apparently, that's where all this came out of. Or somebody else was ranting at the exact same scenario in Discord. And they were saying, like, dude, I don't like sitting around waiting for 8 hours and not pirating anybody. And like, the argument here is that there is so little game. Then you have the duping meta on top of it that ruined or meta or bug or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You had the dupe problem that ruined everything in that case. Or it ruined everything in the sense that people got way more money way faster than they should have. Where Rappel and Pickersfield and whatever would have been a little bit more active if that didn't happen for longer, right? So the meta trade run would have been better, and he would add more fun for longer. So that didn't help. But at the same time, when you have only one trade run that is significantly better than all the other trade runs, That's not good either, right? And my argument this morning was very simple. The game obviously needs more players in the server. We know when that's going to happen, right? We don't know how many there will be, but we know when we'll first see that jump in players. But what we don't know is when they're going to make the things players do in the game more meaningful, where miners and people who enjoy the loop of mining are going to go ahead and do that, and players who enjoy the loop of salvage are going to go ahead and do that. The players who enjoy the loop of cargo hauling are going to go ahead and do that. The players who love to do PvE are going to go ahead and do that and not get bored. And the reason why they wouldn't get bored is meaningful progression, reputation, items that you find, drops, loot, all those things are meaningful. And then what do people like Summit do? What do people like Space Cutlet do? And friends, Tumblr, Blues, the guys that are in chat here, what do? Hopefully, CIG has an ounce of a brain, which I think they do, and creates very obvious hubs for players. Very obvious hubs for players. Specifically, the best thing to do would be very obvious hubs for trading between players, perhaps, right? Think, I don't know, let's use Stanton, because we only have Stanton. Let's use, I don't know, Seraphim Station, or maybe a jump gate. I don't actually know where the best example in Stanton would be, but like a nice place to trade, right? That everybody would go there. So pirates camp the most obvious highway route to those locations, right? You can get there in other ways, but the most traveled lanes would be where the pirates sit. And if they were traveled significantly and there were a decent amount of players, you would never be waiting. You would be deciding whether or not you were going to pirate somebody. Maybe gates. Maybe it's the pyro jump gate. But that's what I think is kind of what's missing for the game and why it feels so dead. Is if it's just Pickers Field, then it's just SMO 18 like it was 6 months ago. Then it's just Tram and Myers like it was 4 years ago. It's just Jumptown like it was before. Jumptown was meaningful because when you died, you lost your stuff. Like it was real. Okay, whatever this one is, this one's going to be good. Look at this face. He's livid.
Much money as you want to, and that's the point.
Oh, hold on.
Much money as you want to, and that's the point. Homie, just go play a single player game, man. You know, go feel good about yourself and your own shit.
Oh, he's yelling at chat.
You have more of a chance of someone finding you on Starfield on a fucking planet. You have more of a chance at PvP on Starfield. This doesn't even have it. That's the point. You are the doof.
Holy shit. That was awesome. But yeah, what I hope comes out of this, what I hope comes out of this is a lot of the PvPers have this murder hobo mentality to them because of this and get a bad rap on the forums and when they give feedback because they're simply looking for PvP. I'm not saying those examples are good. Like the old days of just camping Port Olisar and killing everybody there. I don't think that was ever a good thing to do. It was. I always thought it was cringe. But what else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? Go in Arena Commander and fight the same guy over and over again for 10 minutes or for 10 years, right? Like it's just dumb. So the idea of like funneling people to places, CIG gets it, but they haven't quite got the, again, going back to what we just said. There is Ghost Hollow. There is Wake of Disaster. Now there's like Pickersfield and stuff with these like big cargo runs. There's Jumptown. CIG understands the idea of funneling players somewhere to create PvP. What they haven't understood is the motivation for players, right? They haven't understood what motivates players in their game yet because they haven't made the motivation yet. And that's the problem. And they're sitting here going, I made Jumptown with 1/6 SCU boxes. I don't understand why nobody wants to go there anymore. Let's make new Jumptown locations instead of making Jumptown more fun. Like, I saw people make comments, oh, if there was Jumptown, Summit would have had more fun. Yeah, he would have had more fun than he has standing around for 8 hours doing nothing, but he wouldn't have that much fun because it isn't anywhere near as relevant as a piracy situation as camping a C2 at Pickers Field, because they killed Jumptown with the cargo changes and didn't update it since then. And it's just stupid at this point, right? So like, oh, we're going to turn on Jumptown. Guess who cares? Very few people in comparison to how many people cared when it first went off, right? That's the thing, is you know the risk there, the reward isn't there. That's the problem with Jumptown. There's a ton of risk there, but there's no reward. All right. Every time I look at a clip, he's even more mad.
It's embarrassing, actually. I feel like a shit streamer 90% of my day for like the last like 3 weeks. Thinking to myself the whole time, like, dude, the content's there. You just got to learn to find it. The content's there. You just got to learn to find it.
Bro, who told him the content was there?
No, it's fucking not.
Who told him the content's there? It's not there. That's the thing, is it's not there. That's why they you know, call it the pre-alpha and all this other bullshit, to try to make sure that people recognize that it's not there. I cannot believe how long he put into this. And he is not a shitty streamer. The fact that he put as much time into this and still made it entertaining for people who watch Star Citizen streams all the time shows how much better of a streamer he is than anybody who has ever streamed this game ever. He's a bad player. That's funny, because I watched him literally kill stream snipers. And I'm not that good at the game, granted, but I was in Arena Commander, and he was randomly there, and he was really fucking close to killing me after a week. He is not a bad player by any means. That is a dumb comment, dude. You are an idiot. I'm sorry. Again, I didn't fucking snipe him in AC. You are such a nerd, Virgil. You and Burks, you fucking nerds. I was sitting in their Discord training for myself because this dude was motivating me to train. And these two, I was literally in a channel by myself. Virgil and Burks come out of wherever their little voice chat conversation was, pop into Discord and it's like, you're in Summit server. Yeah, get called out, nerd. All right, next one. It gets better every time. The thumbnail's better every time.
And then what do you do if you're running RMC, okay? Snare plan, right? Summit. You need to use snare plan if you want to catch people with interdicting, okay? You gotta. Because then you're going to catch all the moons. They're going to go to one spot. No. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They can jump into no man's land and then fucking slide on into that bitch from some fucking random angle.
Yeah, but nobody does that. That's the thing. No one does that, right? The only person who's doing that is the one that knows they're in your server and is sniping. Like, people... Oh, God. When are you guys going to understand when people say nobody, they don't mean you? The 4 people in fucking chat who says, I do that, smile. When I say nobody does that, I mean 90% of people don't do that, okay? Like, I think it's very obvious when I say it that way, but... like, what the fuck, man? Holy shit. Most people don't do that, and a significant majority of people don't. So, he's right that the idea of snare plan is idiotic. If he ever saw Freelancer, which was the, like, if you ever played Freelancer, you know what Chris was trying to do when he made Star Citizen. Like, you can see Star Citizen in Freelancer. You could see it. The only difference when it comes to travel is that in Freelancer, there are highways. You go through a gate and there is a specific lane that everyone travels on. If I am going from this system to that system, it is one specific lane. It's not the rotation of the planet, the whatever, right? So then if you are going to camp that trade lane or that lane period, then all the opportunities can happen, right? All the opportunities can happen. He's still a bad player overall in game. Am I allowed to have an opinion? Yeah, you can have an opinion, but when you say it, I could still say your opinion's fucking stupid. Like, you could still have a bad opinion. I could still think your opinion is dumb. And I think it is. Right? So the idea of like the trade lanes in Freelancer, I don't know why they didn't do this with SC and they wanted to go this super complicated route. And it's going to get even worse in the future because you're going to be able to jump in any direction easily without having to spool. Well, not necessarily having to spool, but we know that quantum travel is changing and not for the better in this argument that what happens if there are pirates camping a trade lane in a situation, if it's like Freelancer, then people call that out. There's other people in game that love killing pirates, and then a fight ensues. There's PvP. There's organic gameplay, right? So I don't know why they didn't go that route at all. So Summit's like 100% right, but he doesn't. But most people aren't using the like jump to random locations before they jump to the place that they want to go. Most people aren't doing it. A significant amount of people aren't doing it. The issue you have here is most people aren't doing the trade lane that you're camping because there's 100 players in the server and most of them are literally in third person staring at their ship, walking around their ship, talking to their buddies about what Star Citizen's going to be one day. That's the problem here, is there's no motivation for anybody to actually play the game. He came in at a really great time and had, you know, Pickersfield going super hard because people, you know, there was just a wipe. People wanted to make money. That was the best place to make money. So he got this like insurgence of content for a week, and then obviously the bugs killed that content, right? Or the exploits killed that content right away. But yeah,
and no way you're catching that shit. So the only RMC people you actually catch are the idiots. The people that are just like, oh, where do we go? Area 18. Let's go there. I guess we're going.
Newsflash: most people who play this game are idiots.
That's who you catch. Because you're not catching anyone who has a brain. At all.
Yeah. That's why I think the trade lane should be static. And I really hope we do that. Yeah, they're basically NPCs, right? They're basically NPCs. All right, next clip.
That's the point?
Okay, it's like he responded to this guy in my chat. Isn't that the point of Star Citizen? Hold on.
That's the point? That's the point? Listen, guys, don't take this the wrong way, bros. But I don't think you understand what a good video, what makes a good video game. You know what I'm saying?
Don't take this the wrong way. Oh, here we go. This is when it gets good. This is when it gets good.
The ability to interact with one another, the ability to run into one another, you know what I'm saying? That's the point. The point for you is to mine forever, risk-free, make as much money as you want to, and that's the point. Homie, just go play a single-player game, man. You know, go feel good about yourself and your own shit.
He's dead right.
You get more, you have a...
Most people want this to be a single-player game. There are literal... Yeah, we did just see this one, didn't we? I was thinking that the same thing. I think this is like a longer version of it or something. Okay. Because he's going to say the Starfield comment. Okay, here we go.
Frustrating, very difficult. One of the hardest games I've ever played, especially solo and popular servers. Very hard. The polar motherfucking opposite of Star Citizen. It's like...
He's talking about Rust.
If you just wanted to be in Egypt farming alone with no problems, with a 0% chance someone that will find you, there's no fucking chance that will ever happen in Rust.
Yeah.
Very frustrating, very difficult.
Right? But I don't know where that comment comes from. Star Citizen isn't necessarily trying to be Rust. I think, you know, again, I've been on a little bit of an Eve kick lately, and I think Eve is probably the best example of what the problem is with Star Citizen. In Eve, you have a bunch of people. This isn't Eve either, but what is happening in Eve is what needs to happen in Star Citizen for him to have fun. Whether this is what you want or not, what I want or not is irrelevant, okay? It's what he wants is that what we're talking about. And what Eve does is there are countless ways to play the game, whether you're... And I don't even know any of them. So the only ones that I've gotten into so far are mining, a tiny bit of salvage, and industry, right? That's it. And I know a bit about like cargo contracts, okay? So what that game does is 20K players in game at any given time. That's Eve. Okay, Star Citizen has had more players than that concurrently before. From what they tell us, whether you believe them or not, is whatever. The difference is that Star Citizen players are split into a bunch of 100-player servers, right? That's the problem. So there's 100 players in a server if you're lucky. That's it. And the issue in Eve, though, is that everybody is doing something that is relevant and that is potentially worth pirating. Every item in the game has a meaning. Everything matters. So everyone you come across is somebody who could potentially kill you and take your stuff, or you kill them and take their stuff at any given moment, right? That is not necessarily what I want Star Citizen to be, and I don't think that's what their audience wants it to be. And to be honest, I don't think that's what Summit wants it to be necessarily either, entirely, right? But I don't know. I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to put words in his mouth. But interaction between players should be meaningful. And the idea here is that people are doing things all the time in Eve. People aren't doing anything relevant in Star Citizen because there's very little relevant to do in terms of playing the video game, right? You don't walk across somebody and see what they're doing and go, oh, they're doing something other than watching their alpha UEC number go up, right? There's very little moments where he actually mentioned one of the only moments of relevancy, which is somebody going to Picker's Field and farming the new armor, right? That is when you get a VoidyVids video pointing out that as a really cool thing. That's how you know how bad Star Citizen is. That's when you have to realize, when the wake-up call happens, when there is a piece of armor in the game that looks cool, maybe to some people, not to others, right? I think it looks cool, has a few extra attachment points on it, and that's what people are excited for, right? That's when you realize that our game probably sucks, right? If you didn't beforehand. All right, Pyro won't fix anything.
There'll be more PvP elements with Pyro. Yeah, I'm starting to doubt, brother.
I don't think there's any PvP elements with Pyro. I think it's just there's less laws.
I'm starting to doubt. Until you can tell me some sort of system that they have in that system that is going to make that fucking happen, I don't see that. Just calling it a lawless zone is only going to do so much, brother.
All right, well, I can maybe give him a little bit of a hint if he ever happens to see this, and I don't think he will, because I think he is absolutely done with SC at this point. But the only inkling that I could see, I guess there's two things that stuck out to me, and let me know if anything else stuck out to you guys, is you, and I hope this doesn't stay, to be honest. You can buy railguns at stations in Pyro. They seemed like they were at a shop that was locked behind Reputation, even though in the playtest they weren't. So certain guns that you can't find in Stanton, you can find in Pyro more easily, which means players taking them from Pyro to Stanton to do certain content with them, probably. And then you have, there are, I think, 4+ commodities in the playtest. There's probably more, 2 of which are Quantanium level value in terms of whether they're, I think they were minables, not just commodities. So then you have miners wanting to go to Pyro to get these things. The problem with it is, and again, going back to things like Eve, Rust, every other game in existence that isn't trash, what am I doing with silicone? Right? That is one of the commodities that's there. I don't remember if that was one of the really expensive ones. What am I doing with iron? We know we've seen steel at the distribution centers. What do we do with these things? They don't mean anything, right? Like in Eve, I had to go mine my first ore in Losec yesterday. I was scared shitless, right? But I needed to do that because I needed to do it to make something else, right? Why would a casual miner who doesn't care about PvP want to go to Pyro if you're not doing anything with that stuff? I'll just mine Quantanium and Stanton then and play my single player game. And if anything, the fact that Pyro exists is you're going to have your single-player players hiding in Stanton, and you're going to have your PvP players with their dick in their hands doing nothing, just jerking off, figuring out, like talking about, oh, one day this game will be good. And it's like, the only thing that is going to make this game good is motivating people to be in the same area together that you can also fight in and things to fight over. That's the only thing that's going to do it. That's it. All right, making sure this clip is titled differently.
All I know is it's like you said, proactive is not there, it's reactive. Star Citizen is a reactive game when it comes to criminal activity, right? I would say it's the opposite on Sea of Thieves. You are being proactive. And it's very rare, in fact, that we're reactive. We only get ourselves into a position to be reactive when there's no other choice.
What do they mean by what do you think he means by that? Because I haven't played much Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves piracy is the gameplay? Like the moment you see somebody, you go for them? Isn't that reactive? That's what I'm confused about. He means that you don't go to players during cargo. They come to you. In Star Citizen. I think he means that you can actively go for PvP in SC. Okay, cool. Gotcha. In Sea of Thieves. Sorry. And in SC you wait. Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Video download. I'm not downloading anything. What is this? Okay.
There's 360 degrees of somewhere from this point. And you want me to just choose the fucking one that someone else will go on, maybe, potentially, probably fucking not in this server? You want me to choose this one place out of 10 of these places, and then you want me to choose one direction out of 10 directions and hope that I run into one of these motherfuckers. That's what you want me to do right now. That's how you find an ROC miner?
Oh my God, he wanted to find ROC miners. There's like 3 of them that exist. They're a dying breed. They're one of the rare species in the game. Nobody's doing that shit anymore. Rock mining is not dead. Actually, I think it like works again. But rock mining is very satisfying when you do it. It's just, how do you find these people? The old days, it was a lot easier, right? The old days, you can ping and see people from really far away. The old days, you could see their lights on the surface of a planet, right? It was sick. It was sick. Rock mining was awesome.
Stuff like this guy could be salvaging ships fucking anywhere that's better than Picker's fucking field, but this poor dude is here right now. Those are the only dudes you're catching. You think these dudes with weevil eggs are just popping out? You know what I mean? Just fucking cruising around the fucking galaxy? These guys are fucking scared shitless. They fucking wait till the butt crack of fucking the nighttime.
No, they're not. I honestly don't think they are. I don't even think they are. It's straight up that where you're finding weevil eggs are in the most random places. So they are coming from the most random places and then selling them, right? Has Summit ever camped Brios? Has Summit ever camped Brios or any of those places? Yeah. And it's always dead, right? Yeah, he said he's bored of it. Because again, he's got to camp it. It's so boring. It's so boring. Like every day. Okay, just making sure. Every time I see him, it's Pickersfield. Tends to be when I wake up, I see him at Pickersfield. But the only thing that is going to help this game is when the game is alive and players are going through, doing their day-to-day, and then there's Summit waiting in the background, right? And there has to be enough people doing their day-to-day on a server for piracy is the most fleshed out gameplay loop, but it is the most it's the one that needs the game to be better more than anything, right? It's the most fleshed out loop because you can do it. You can stop somebody. You can disable them. You can take the stuff off. Whereas every other gameplay loop in the game is like waiting for the next tech, right? That kind of thing. So like it's there, but it's not there at all, right? Piracy needs a healthy game. It needs a healthy game. I mean, I could think back to like Ultima Online. There's a skill called Thievery, right? And I remember coming back to the game after many, many years and the game was dead, right? And there's a location where, you know, there's this really, really valuable shit. And I had to wait like 30 minutes for this guy to finish his like PvE thing that he was doing. And then at the right moment, I opened his bag and I took this thing that was worth 5 million gold out of his bag, which to me was a lot at the time. I didn't know that people had billions or whatever. My heart was pumping. It was great. That was Summit's first time at Pickersfield, right? Then you go there the next day. Check. Nobody's doing it. You go there the next day. Check. Nobody's doing it. You go there the next day. Somebody's doing it. But he got away. And then it's just, screw this. You know? It was terrible. GM Invisibility, GM Pickpocket. You don't even know the names of the skills. It was hiding, stealth, and I think it might have been pickpocket. Right? Where they go into the fucking
Asia servers when they have 10 people around the entire galaxy and they go fucking sell their weevil eggs to fucking Samson and Jerry's in the corner of the universe somewhere. I don't know.
I mean, that his point here, remember when there was only Jumptown? There was only one drug place? Remember that? There was only one. And then they were like, yo, people like Jumptown. Let's make 5 of them. And we all went, you don't get it. You don't get it. What made Jumptown good? Is it funneled everybody together. And the players who knew that they didn't want to get killed or didn't want to engage in any piracy didn't go there, right? And the players who wanted it or knew the risks did. And you know what you got? You got a lot less this on the forums crying about PvP and all this other bullshit and you got a lot of, and I think I am being slightly nostalgic about this, but at the same time, it was a lot better than what we have now. There's no way. There is no way. Okay, I think, well, a couple seconds left. No, he's done. I didn't know if he was going to dig in a little bit more. I think we might have already seen this one. What's this one titled?
SaltEMike thinks the very best way to find people farming salvage is to go to the Grimhex Miner's Lament like field of asteroids.
But again, it's the idiots that are there.
Right? And go back and forth 20 kilometers until you find fucking Joe Schmo who just didn't want to fucking jump somewhere into deep space. And that's who you might find that have fucking 20 SKU on them.
Yep. That's and I literally told him because he was apparently asking me where he should find it on his stream, so people chat hopped yesterday, and I was like, dude, good luck, because the only place I've consistently found people doing like actual salvage was there, right? The rest of the people are the same issue that he has, is salvage is being done at all the random Lagrange point stations, and then people are going to sell at the cities and stuff like that. And they're coming from all different directions. So you can't use a Mantis to get them. Everybody is just too spread out. So I said the only chance, and I told chat to tell him that it wasn't good, but the only chance was there, and they're going to be in vultures. They're not going to be in reclaimers. Yeah.
He's just trying to feed his family. And that's who you can find. Skew, fucking nutsack, whatever, man.
I know you guys were making fun of the way he says it. Who cares? Doesn't matter. You know what he means.
All I know is there's bounty hunters for 7% of the population to kill those motherfuckers, okay? There's no hits to kill any of the 96% of the other population, okay? Who the fuck is in the bubble, all right? Who's being fucking chillin'? Who's been big chillin' for fucking years now?
The only thing that's going to save that is motivation. I remember we made this argument when the first bounty hunter missions came out. We were like, hey, why don't you have the Ninetales put a bounty on bounty hunters' heads? And the devs came up with, I cannot remember what it was, but I remember respecting their reasoning. And I remember it not being like a bad thing, right? The reasoning was like logical. And whenever I feel like I can't argue against your logic, then you're probably right. It wasn't Elliot, it was Luke Presley, but I just can't remember what he said. It was weird. But in the end, the current bounty system is terrible anyway, right? Should we really be putting a god marker on people, right? Should wall hacks be a thing? I don't think so.
The game either has a fucking gameplay loop or it doesn't. You know, like, I'm live streaming, dude. There have been multiple days now, okay? It's embarrassing as fuck, actually, that you guys will watch me sit in the same fucking spot for multiple fucking hours watching opportunity go by like it's nothing. Like... It's embarrassing, actually. I feel like a shit streamer 90% of my day for like the last like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Nah, he's not, though. We didn't see the beginning part. All right, I don't think he understands how good of a streamer he actually, well, he does. I'm sure he does. But the fact that he can make that as entertaining as he has over these last couple weeks is why he's on the Mount Rushmore of streamers.
Getting one haul. Sure. They bring in multiple hauls to refine. They might not even refine that day. That can be weeks of buildup before they decide to do one run
Oh my God, what idiot in chat is telling him to pirate miners? I have had every pirate I know, because they know mining is my thing. They always ask me, where do I go to pirate miners? Just like he asked me, where do I go to pirate salvagers? And there is no answer. There is no answer. They tried to do, and again, they screwed it up. They screwed it up so bad. They screwed it up so bad. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, you guys ready for this one? You guys ready for this one? Like, probably the best place for a prospector miner to mine would be Selin. But where do they go to drop off their ore? Probably Crusader L1. But there's also really good places to mine around ArcCorp, around Hurston, and elsewhere, whether you're in a belt or whatever, right? The whole Stanton system is decent to mine because of the system that they put in place, which is half-baked at this point, because I think they're waiting on crafting, which blows. But the one mistake that they did is there is a sneaky little station that is really cool, right? And it's called Hurston L5 or Microtech L5. I can't remember which one. So either Hurston or Microtech. Top right of the star map, out of the way completely, super, super far away. Gives you the best bonus to your ore, to the ores that you would typically mine. I think it's gold, quantanium, and something else. It's really, I think it's Hurston, yeah. It's really good, but define really good. It's only really good in comparison to the fact that, like, you might not get a bonus at Crusader L1. But when you really think about it, I only have 32 SCU of something in a prospector. I only have 96 SCU of something in a mole. So you're telling me that if I make 5% more, or in this case, I think it's 8% more, what's 8% more SCU of quantanium in value? It's a Microtech L5? Okay. It doesn't matter, though. Right? In actual monetary value. 25K. Right? Like, it's such a small amount that nobody's going out of their way to go there first. Second, why is it all the way out there? What if they put it right in the middle of everything? What if you put that station right in the middle of everything? And all of a sudden, you have a little bit of a trade lane for prospectors and for moles and for miners, right? What if you did that? What if you added refining to salvage at these stations? You know what I mean? What if you created a situation where everybody wants to go to one place? Like, we keep doing these things where it's like, oh, we want player choice, right? But one of the player choices should be, do I take the risk or do I go to the simple place? And the only way to make them want to make that choice is to go and make that choice really valuable. But then you have the other problem that Summit just mentioned. We're all split into 5,000 different servers of 100 people, and you got one server. This is a big problem with Wake of Disaster and Ghost Hollow, is you'll have one server with 5 people on it, and they'll just be farming these things over and over and over again, right? Over and over and over again. Listen, man, server meshing is not going to save this game entirely, but it is a prerequisite for this game to exist, period. There's no other way of looking at it. There's no other way of looking at it, because no matter what you do, how many people are mining on your 100-player server, even if everybody goes, if there's only one refinery station, how many people are mining out of the 100 people? How many people are doing Picker's Field out of the 100 people? How many people are just salvaging random locations out of the 100 people? How many people are sitting there, you know, making a fucking machinima right? And then you realize it's like, when are you going to bring us together, right? I want them to bring us together for all sorts of different reasons. I want Terra to be, and I know I'm ranting towards the PvP side of things. I have been very heavily on the machinima, the ship meetup, and like I want to make my own event type people, because I think that that's really, really important, right? I think that that's really, really, really important to have ways for people to come together from a community aspect, and then ways for people to come together from a risk versus reward aspect. They have never made the reward worth the risk outside of Jumptown initially. The first Jumptown, even the first Jumptown V2, they did a good job of, because there was nothing else that was worth doing at the time. So that they have to do that. They have to make it so a good enough amount of people are funneling to one spot for reasons. And the reasons, I said at the beginning of the stream, I really hope the reason is a trade hub, not a meta way of playing, right? I hope you play the way you want, and then the roads to the trade hub are the scary things. That's what I want this game to be. The roads to, like, roads lead here. That's where your summits, your cutlets, your Burks in some cases, right? When he's feeling like doing some piracy instead of being the policeman. But then your Burkses get to be the policeman, right? And then all of a sudden you're dealing with people working together too. Like, oh shit, I need to make PvP friends if I'm going to be a trader. You know, it's just silly.
Tiny window that they're going to do on a server with nobody in it. They're not going to go on a main route. I just call bullshit that you ever catch those guys.
And the problem is meshing won't change the problems at all. It will still be the reactive game until meshing can be scaled up. You're contradicting yourself. In the end, we don't know how many players we're going to get with the initial meshing. Probably not that many. But so you're right, like it would need to get scaled. But no matter what the situation is, like, a lot of people in a server is the prerequisite for this game to exist. For it to be an MMO, for us to get those interactions. 200 to 400, best case in your opinion. Nobody really cares about your opinion, mine, or anyone else's in this case, right? It just has to be an MMO, period.
Nice.
Right?
Getting one.
Okay. That was that. And then this is the end. This is his, like, just summary of it, apparently.
I come to anything. I did my time on Star Citizen. I came to my conclusion. I think it's a good game overall. It's just when it comes to, you know, making PvP and piracy work, it's a little bit time consuming. So I'll wait for server meshing, and that might minimize some of that time issue.
Okay.
As a streamer, I just can't, like, I can't sit around for that long without doing something. I mean, I'm doing it right now, but I'm also at the end of my night not playing any games.
I think that's a totally fair assessment, right? And what he's doing there is he's not saying, like, what you like out of the game isn't good. He's not saying that the game is bad or anything like that. He's saying what I like to do for this game is too hard. It's too hard. I can't enjoy it the way I'd like to enjoy it, and I'm just going to wait. Right? He's not knocking the fact that you want to go and take pictures of your spaceship like I do. Because I guess he doesn't have to deal with as much of the kickback as I have over the years or whatever, right? But yeah. So I think that's a good summary of it, and that was fun. But I gotta say, he is one of the most strong-willed people of all time, because it took him way longer to get to this point than I thought he would. So GG, I'm so happy Summit was here. It was a great time again. The dude motivated me to, like, actually start PvPing and everything again, and really try hard at it. And yeah, I'm still doing that stuff, which is super cool. And yeah, I can't wait to see a situation where he wants to come back to the game. And I think he knows so much about the game now that all it takes is them, like CIG, explaining the update, and he's in. Like, he doesn't need to go to, like, hey, I need Burks to Sherpa me around or anything like that anymore. I think he's going to be able to just jump right back in, be like, oh, yeah, this feels different. This feels good. Or, oh, this doesn't feel that good. I'll be back later, right? So it'll be cool. And what I like is that, like, he reaches out to Cutlet, he reaches out to Burks and the guys who are experts in their field to try to get better. And I think it's been a really cool ride while he was here. And yeah, look forward to when he comes back. He's not giving up, but he definitely needs a break like the rest of us.